Yay.
All right.
Recording.
Nailed it. We're good, guys.
All right, you guys are good to go anytime you want.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Haas, and I work with Iowa Valley Habitat for Humanity. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We are doing a hybrid, one of our, I guess, one of the first hybrid efforts here. And so this is, bear with us as we try to figure things out. Today we have Lorraine Bowans, who is a senior real estate specialist with RE/MAX, and a senior, senior advisor with LivWell Seniors. We'll have Lorraine talk to us a little bit about being a certified aging in place specialist and working with CAPS contractors and what some of the benefits are in doing that. But before we get to Lorraine's presentation, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about livable community. I'm going to guess that most of you are all familiar with it, but it's always nice to reiterate some things that you guys know. In 2007, the JCLC policy board was created by the Board of Supervisors with an emphasis on making Johnson County a livable community. And in 2021, with a lot of help from volunteers around the community and some staff, Johnson County was named a age-friendly community by AARP. One of the efforts, or one of the ways that the policy board has decided to make sure that Johnson County is a livable community is to develop several action teams that work on a variety of important issues surrounding well-being and care for older adults. So I am the chair of the Housing Action Team, and so we're going to talk to you real briefly about our work. Over the last 4 years, we have put together a series of forums on a variety of topics, including some of the things that you'll learn about today. And I just wanted to encourage you to go and check those out. I listed the link on that on the slide here below. It's also very easy to find on the Livable Community website. Go ahead, Jeff.
Getting there. I got tricky and I lost it. There it is.
All right. One of the biggest hurdles, or one of the biggest barriers to getting modifications and I guess repairs to make your home safe and accessible is finding the money to pay for it. And so fortunately, there are several resources here in Johnson County that are available. And there is just a real quick summary of some of the resources that are available. And all of these organizations have several different programs that support aging in place and making sure that folks have access to safe and decent housing. Aging Services, as it says here on the slide, coordinates yard service and snow removal, and we'll be happy to accept applications. The City of Iowa City has a rehabilitation program where they offer grants and low interest loans for residents in Iowa City. Unfortunately, you do have to be inside the city limits of Iowa City to qualify. City of Coralville has a very similar program, and if you have any questions, you can call Ellen Abel for more information. The Home Builders Association of the Greater Iowa City area also has some grant money available for very low income seniors so that they can get aging in place modifications. And the Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County and Iowa Valley Habitat for Humanity also have very similar programs. So if you have any questions about any of these resources, please feel free to contact me, my colleague, Aaron Kesey. His number is down at the bottom of that slide. And also Jeff is always a great resource. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lorraine, and she will talk to you a little bit about being working with a certified aging in place specialist.
Well, hi everybody, and I'm glad you all joined today. I got really passionate about having a comfortable home and I hate the term aging in place. We want a home to be for ageless living because wider doorways, 0 steps, is perfect for the mom who's holding the toddler hand and has the baby carrier and all this. So aging in place is good for everybody. And so I just call it ageless living. And so you could go from cradle to grave, which is kind of a depressing sight, but it can make your home just wonderful for as long as you can, and make it so anybody with any ability to can come and visit you at any time. Your whole house does not need to be modified or made for access to everything in your house. For you to stay in place, you want to modify what is your main areas. You want a bathroom you can easily get in and out of. You want to be able to get in and out of the home easily. You want a kitchen you can function in, access to laundry, and then a bedroom that you can get easily in and out of. And one of the biggest things is to declutter and get a lot of things out of your way. Area rugs and clutter in a house are two of the main things that cause falls, which can sometimes lead people down a very rough path. So, and go to the next slide. Now, I'm a certified aging in place specialist through the National Association of Home Builders. I am also a certified living in place professional through the Living Institute. I am a certified senior advisor through the Society of Senior Advisors. And I'm a senior resource specialist with LivWell Seniors. And so I wear a lot of hats. I got very interested in this when I started with my parents who had multiple issues as they aged. My mother had severe osteoporosis, and to tell you how bad it was, she actually fractured her pelvis standing washing dishes. So these type of things can happen. My father lost 65% of his hearing, and he had macular degeneration and was classified as legally blind, but he could see very little out of a peripheral vision. My mother was very sharp. My father had some mild dementia. He also had essential tremors. So there's multiple disabilities working there. And so I just started finding things to make life easier for my parents where they were at. They were in a 55 plus senior housing. They moved from the farm there and things went easier, but even in 55 plus housing, we still had to make modifications. So the goal here is to make your house comfortable, livable, and stylish. Nobody wants to live in a home that looks like you're in a nursing home. So next slide. Now, I completely redid my kitchen in my house I moved into 4 years ago. And I kept the original cabinets because they were solid wood. But the doors I didn't like, and it was a orange oak finish, which I didn't like. So we had a company come in and they put an overlay on our cabinet, and then they changed out the doors. But they took out all the lower cabinets and made them drawers, or we had 2 sets of cabinets that were pull-out drawers. They made a place for the garbage can because that's something people can trip over. And it was about a fraction of the cost is what it would cost to do a full kitchen remodel. Now that will make a difference on the quality of your original cabinets, but it changed the complete look of our kitchen, and it is 100% user-friendly. So that's one thing. When you see the cabinets, you can see the pullouts and things like that. They also have cabinets that will, if you have upper cabinets and you can't reach them, they will actually pull down and you just push them back up. So there's so much in kitchen design that a lot of them are just inserts that you put in your original cabinetry. And then when you come in the kitchen, you want to do away with glossy floors that could be slick. You want to be careful on area rugs. And Costco has a huge mat that is a pretty mat, but it's rubber. It weighs about 10 pounds when you pick it up. And it has an angled edge to it So you can easily go over it with a walker. I have a little microwave cart I move around sometimes, and it goes right over that, super easy. So if you're in a walker, I recommend those. I have not seen them anyplace else. They have some fatigue mats, which also stay in place. And with the rubber and being so heavy, the one from Costco works great. I don't mean to name brands, but that's the best one I found locally. You want to have a duller sheen on your countertops. Glossy countertops make it sometimes visually hard. Marble is not a good source. I personally still like laminate, and you get your beautiful designs if you want them to look more trendy. A laminate is great. I'm not partial to the quartz and granite, because when you put a cup of coffee down or a cup of tea down and those counters are cold, you have lukewarm in like a minute and a half. So that's one thing, and they're much cheaper as well. When you come to appliances, there are so many options in appliances now. One of my personal favorites that is not promoted enough is if you're starting to have some forgetfulness, there is a cooktop that's called an induction cooktop, where you use a certain type of pan, and it's sort of a magnetic thing. So the cooktop does not get hot. And if your pan should boil dry, it shuts off. These can be installed in a drawer, so you pull them out so they're out of the way if you have a small place. They can be a full-size range, or they can just be a cooktop that sits up on top. You have ovens now that have 2 doors. They have the trouble with the ovens with the 2 doors. If you're cooking a turkey, you are bending way down at the bottom to get that turkey out, and that's tough. But if you just use little things, you can use the top part. Wall units are also getting very nice now, and microwaves. As you're getting older, you really don't want your microwave above your range, because then you're pulling things down on you. So you want to be careful with that. So it's better to go to a countertop microwave or one that's built in the wall. They have microwaves that have French doors. They have built-in ovens that have French doors. So when they pull down it on an oven, when you pull down, you have to reach in, and that's not good. With the French doors, you can have like a shelf that you can pull out. So when you're getting something out, you can set it right on the shelf. You also want to have an area on your stove where you can easily move it to just slide it straight across off of the oven and everything, and try to avoid reaching down. I have a new gadget I got because as I don't bend over so well, I was constantly burning my wrist on the edges of the racks. I purchased a little silicone thing that fits on the edge, so I never burn my wrist anymore. And you just slide it on. It's a little round thing, and you just slide it on. It's perfect. Same thing with dishwashers. A lot of people are raising dishwashers off the floor. They have small dishwashers that are drawers. Same thing with microwaves, also can be in drawers. So they're really becoming inventive with appliances. And again, you don't want a slick surface for your floor. More of a matte finish is better. Most tiles are good, but anytime you go to a shiny surface, you're going to have trouble with some slickness. If you go with a luxury vinyl plank, try to get one that's not smooth, it has some texture to it. Those are always a little easier. Okay, next slide.
That's not nice.
Oh,
Yeah, let me try something.
well, let me pull mine up and I can keep talking.
It's about capped professionals. but,
Yeah, we can skip the caps professional. Okay.
Well,
Now, one of the things you want to think about is, as you modify your home, is cost. And there's a lot of things that are very inexpensive you can do and do yourself and be able to stay in your home. And you have to decide whether staying in your home is the best cost approach to do. If you need to do a major kitchen remodel, a major bathroom remodel, you might want to see if maybe another house in your neighborhood might come available. So if your main goal is to stay in your neighborhood, keep an eye out for something to move into. Or there's so many different types of senior housing now that it is not, I know it's not what you vision it used to be, and they change all the time. So I do 24, to get a CAPS designation, you do 24 hours worth of education. And one is working as a team with builders. And so I'm not a builder, but I know enough about it on things. So there's temporary things you can do to your home or permanent things, but it's all about making things easy. So we all know about the ramps for your house. If you have too many stairs and a ramp will not work because you don't have enough yard, they do have lifts that will go up, and they can go up as high as 2 stories. I believe there is one lift that will even go as high as 3 stories. And you can put them on the outside of the house or on the inside of the house. If you have just maybe one small step into your home, there are like rubber mats or plastic ramps that can be removed and added at all times. So if you have a relative who only comes over every so often, you can put that out to get them into the house. So there's a lot of things out there. If you are in the garage, and I would not probably put this on the front of your house, but you could, there is now it's a metal step that you can push the button, it flattens out and becomes a lift, and it's good for doing 2 or 3 stairs. So it's an excellent way to get into your house from the garage, because they're not going to really be pretty at the front of your house. And they're easily removed. And if somebody comes in and they don't want that lift, they still have a set of stairs. I do not know the cost on those though. I've just learned about them recently. So you want to do some cost analysis on what it would take to modify things, but a good CAPS professional, and they're not all builders. I know we have a kitchen designer who is CAPS in town. We have a bathroom and kitchen designer who's CAPS certified. There's an architect in town. So there's a lot of people, and the people who are CAPS certified, you can reach out to the Greater Iowa City Area Association of Home Builders, and Carol can let you know who they are in the area. There are some in Cedar Rapids as well. So people who take this designation are very passionate on helping seniors. Okay, next slide. We'll just skip this one. We're going to go. And this is, you can do an elevator in your house, and elevators are changing all the time. There's some that are like a pneumatic tube. There are some that need gears, room at the top or room at the bottom. And the lifts now can also go multiple floors, which is nice. If you're building a new house, you can make stacked closets for a future elevator, which is your design on the right, which is tremendous, but they are expensive to do that. The lowest cost is either a stair lift, and they usually work better. The stair lift where you're seated, those usually work better in a home versus outside, and the lift works better if you're going multiple stories, or if you have a crazy staircase, or if you're outside. Okay, next slide. Now we come into the bathroom. There's a lot of things here. You can make a 0 entry bathroom. And so you can roll in with the wheelchair. This shows grab bars, and grab bars are very important. I always suggest have some type of occupational therapist or physical therapist, or sometimes even a visiting nurse, because you want those grab bars placed where you need them. And the old school used to be you want them put in by a professional. The old school thing used to be that you put them into the studs. This is not always the best. They have special nuts and bolt things that you put in the wall that anchors this so securely. And you want, like for my mother, she needed an angle grab bar because of her shoulder and she couldn't move her shoulder up. So she needed an angle grab bar to pull herself up versus a vertical one. Now, these are your basic grab bars, but you can go to any of the bath shops and there are toilet paper holders that are grab bars. They have grab bars that will go into the floor. They have grab bars that will go the full way around your shower. And they have decorative grab bars, which can be dual purpose, where they're both a towel rod and a grab bar, but they do not look like a grab bar. Some people don't delay putting them in because they don't want it to look like they're old, but you can get very decorative grab bars. They cost sometimes as much as twice as much, but if that's your big splurge, that's your big splurge. So there's grab bars that go up and down. There's even grab bars that will do a right angle, they curve. So it's what works best for you. But the roll-in is the best. And you can get them with a fold-down seat or have a large seat, or you can get the little portable chair seats to go in, whatever makes you most comfortable. You always want to have a handheld so that you can get to places you may not be able to get and, you know, reach behind you, whatever. Because if you're sitting, sometimes your shower head is too far away that it's just, you're not getting the good shower. You're just getting kind of little droplets. So that's why the handheld is great. There is a unit that is on the exterior wall that you can adjust. It still has the shower head and it has an adjustable handheld that you can move up and down as what's needed for you. So if you're still standing, you can move it up. If you're seated, you can move it down so you can grab that handheld. So if you only have one bathroom in the house, that might be the best way for you if there's other people who are standing all the time. All right, next slide. Oh, and I forgot, there's one more thing in a shower. There is a strip you can buy that if you have like a shower door that has the track, you can put this strip over the track that makes it easier to get in. And you sort of roll over on it. So it's about yay wide and makes it a little more easier to roll in. Okay. And this just says that you want to stay in your home as long as you can and be comfortable in it. Next slide. Some of the things to make your home is a main floor bedroom and non-slip floors, easy to reach switches and outlets. Okay, this is my #1 tip. I have certain outlets that I plug a lot of stuff into that I cannot reach. Behind my nightstand, I have 4 things plugged into that. And I finally just got a power strip. You can go to any fabric store or craft store, buy strips of Velcro. You Velcro the back, you Velcro to the wall, or you Velcro to, I Velcroed mine to my nightstand. It stays put and I have easy access to everything. If you have by your couch, you have a lamp and maybe you want to charge your computer or whatever, you don't want to climb back there, you get some of these, and these are not expensive and they're wonderful. So I like those. The other things are, this is at Christmas time, I love this. They have so many, I am not all that techie sometimes. And so I like simple things. They still make the clapper, but they're getting harder to find. But this is something that you just plug into your wall outlet. You've got your wall outlet. And I have 3 of these. At Christmas time, I have lights in 3 different rooms. And so I use one of these. It has a space on the bottom where you can plug in 2 plugs. This little remote control has 1, 2, and 3 on and off. Very simple. And because I lose it all the time or the cats will drag it off, I actually safety pin it to my chair when I'm using it at Christmas time. And from my chair, I can turn on all my Christmas lights and turn off all my Christmas lights. And for your home, you can actually do this if you're in your living room and the light switch is on the other side of the room and you're going into your bedroom. You can actually have something plugged in your bedroom. So you can turn that light on before you even get there. You can get out of the living room and then turn your light off. You can have it for the bathroom as well. I love these little remote control things and they're really inexpensive. Now, if you want, you can go a little higher end, and this is an app on your phone. You can plug any lamp into it. It just goes into your wall outlet. And then you use an app on your phone to turn your light on and off. That to me is kind of a hassle. Give me this little remote and I'm a happy camper. You also have light bulbs that you can put in, and it will also have an app where you can dim. This one actually changes color. So you can change colors, you can turn the lights on and off with your app on your phone, and it's all Wi-Fi connected. Now, for at night, when there's little strips of LEDs, and I didn't have enough room in my bag, but you can buy strips of LED lights to put in your bathroom, like under your counter or around your toilet or in your kitchen. They're just like little night lights, but it's a light that follows the way. This is actually one that you can put in your outlet that again is Wi-Fi, and it lights up on the bottom. So it's kind of like a night light, but it's Wi-Fi connected. And it's little LED lights, so it lights up a pretty good space. So those are some of my little things. You can get, if you want to change out and have a dimmer put in, this can be remote, this can be controlled by your app on your phone, and it's a dimmer switch. And then, oh, that one's that one. I think I've covered everything there. But these little LED lights, and there's some that are battery operated that you can just stick under your countertops, but I have found they go through batteries a lot. And if you forget to turn them off like me, then they don't last very long. There's also a little device, and it's yellow, and it looks exactly like a light switch with a toggle, and you can Velcro it on the wall. If you have an area where there's not enough light for you, they're like $5. I found mine down at Harbor Freight, and I don't mean to name names, but I just know that's where it is. And you can Velcro it to the wall, or you can screw it into the wall. And then when you walk into the room, you flip the switch and that room is lit up. And they're really inexpensive. I like those too. Then when we get to the handles, there's lever handles. You want to get rid of your doorknobs. They're harder, but going to a straight handle is not always the best. If you are ever in a situation where I have trimmers, I have hand trimmers. So sometimes my trimmers make it a little tough to work a lever. Or if you're in a wheelchair or a cane or something, if you get a lever that has a little curve on the end, or they go from narrow to big, those are the better levers to do. Just a straight handle one like that is not the best for you. But it's better than a round knob. And as we get older, round knobs are sometimes harder to do. The levers are much easier. Okay, next one. And let's see, we can skip that one. Now, barriers. You can do sinks that has a false front. So if you don't want people to know that once, if you're not in a wheelchair, but you may someday be in a wheelchair, you can put a false front on your sink like that. And so it looks like a regular cabinet. And then when you go to a wheelchair, you can remove that and you can easily get in. There is something new. If you have the money, because they are expensive, you can get hydraulic countertops and hydraulic counters that will move up and down as you need. I have a client that I researched some information for because he's been in a wheelchair for over 10 years. He's paralyzed, and he is now transitioning due to science, technology, that he is now transitioning into a walking wheelchair. So he's in a standing wheelchair now. And so he wanted that he could move it hydraulically, but that is expensive. But he's like 30 something, so he's gonna be that way for a long time. Barriers, you can put in ramps, and there is a ratio. You want a professional to do the ramp as well, because there's ratios on how high it is, the biggest the slope you have. You can even redo and make it concrete and make it decorative. You do want to have some type of handrail, and that's easy. You can even get LED lights on the handrails as well. It's best to try and have a little, when you get to your front door, it's best to try and have a little shelf or something. So if you're carrying packages, you can set them down, open your door so you're not juggling things. It's also nice if you get packages in the mail, then the mailman does not put it on the ground, they put it on a little table, which I love. And so then again, when you get to the door, we have a handle, but I have a keypad. So if I ever need help and I can call 911, I can tell them what my number is to get into my house. So it's a keypad, it runs on a battery, simple, easy to do. They have multiple types, some that light up, some where you do not have a lock. Ours does not have a key lock. So it's just a keypad. And once you hit the first number, it lights up. So it's great. I like those for the fact that should we ever need help, I don't have to, if I'm doing CPR or something like that, I don't have to leave to go unlock the door. I can just tell them, here's the code, come in. That way your family members always have the code. You may have a neighbor who you give the code to, who can check on you. So there's some things there. All right, next slide. And again, you want plenty of room. You want in your room, you want to move things away, put things against the wall. You want as much open space as you can. Here they talk about wider doorways. An accessible doorway for a wheelchair is 36 inches. The standard doorways in houses are 32 and 34. There is something called a swing away hinge. Now on the door over here, it will only go back so far. When you put in a swing away hinge, that moves the door back so it will lay almost flat against the door, and it gives you an extra 1.5 inches in that doorway, which is sometimes just enough to get a wheelchair in, or so you don't scrape your knuckles when you're using your walker. So those are great, and they're inexpensive and easy to install. But I would recommend you have a professional do it, because if you do not get it installed correctly, your door is not going to shut quite right. But those swing away hinges are great. As far as laundry, there are some seniors who still live on their second floor in their bedrooms, and they may have a bathroom up there, but not laundry. This is one of between bathrooms as falls, and falling going up and down stairs doing laundry are a couple of the most worst things that can happen. You can buy a 24 by 27 inch stackable unit that will fit in most closets. The dryer is ventless, and you just have to move plumbing up. Now, it doesn't do a huge load of laundry, but if you're living by yourself or your husband, you can do small loads and not have to lug big baskets. These I think are great. You have to special order them. I wish somebody would have them on display so you can show, and they come in multiple sizes, but they will come down as small as that. They are expensive. I just priced one for someone, and it's about $2,000 for this unit. But at any time, if you move, you will most likely get the money back out of it, because people don't know about them. And when they do, they're great. But it means you don't have to move that laundry up and down. You can even put them on the main floor. And if you end up having to put it in a kitchen or a bedroom, then it takes very little space rather than having to put in all kinds of stuff. So wide doorways, and it's easy to make some adjustments there. You can also widen some doorways, have a professional come in and widen a doorway. Again, it depends. Electrical can be moved, that can be shifted. If you have a duct there, that's not so easy. If you have a wall or something, it's not easy to do, but there are some special things you can do. And so have the accessible bathroom. The other thing I did not talk about is toilets. I am a firm believer in the bidet toilet seat. I have one because I wanted to see what they were like. One of the most devastating things I think as a senior, when you can no longer toilet yourself. And having a bidet toilet seat gives you your dignity back and you are self-sufficient again. You can buy very inexpensive ones to very expensive ones. They can be remote control or they can be a switch. The one I have has you can warm the seat, you have warm water, you can adjust the velocity of the spray, you can adjust where the spray goes, and it's a remote. And on my remote, I can set it for exactly how I want it. And then when I go to use it, I just press 1 because I'm person 1. Automatically sets up. So there's 2 people that can do it. One of the things you'll notice as we age, we get more urinary tract infections, male and female, mainly because of maybe our movement, arthritis, things like this. We all have some issues. So because we can't clean well enough, you can get some more urinary tract infections. And when you're younger, you have the burning sensation, you have the urgency. As a senior, according to a geriatric nurse practitioner, she explained this to me, you will see some personality changes. So if you have somebody who's usually very happy-go-lucky and everything, and they get cranky and moody or, they're in a fog, that can possibly be the sign of a urinary tract infection. And so a bidet toilet seat cuts down on that quite a bit. This is, I do not know of an official study, but in 3 classes I've been into, said this is proven to be true. And I can verify it by myself because I've used one for a year. I have not had a single urinary tract infection. So yay. They can range anywhere from about $100 to about $300. I installed mine all by myself. You just need to have an outlet nearby. And then you just take off your old toilet seat, put on the new one, you undo the water that goes to the tank and you put it, I think it goes to, you undo the water and hook it up to your toilet seat and that's it. It's wonderful. That will save you, if you have a tendency towards urinary tract infections, that will pay for itself probably in a year. So, okay, next slide. And this is kind of universal design. Is that the last slide? I think it is, yeah. Okay, so some things that were not mentioned is light bulbs. I found this out when we got a new chandelier. It came with a yellowish tint light bulb. The minute we started using that chandelier, I started getting headaches. And sometimes if it was dark for several days, I started getting migraines. Found out that when an electrician came over to hang some pendulum lights for us, he said, why on earth do you have that yellow light bulb in here? And so there is a color spectrum on light bulbs. So we went to a little bluer tint on the light bulb, and it is calming. It does not give me headaches and everything. So sometimes you need to tweak light bulbs. And for that, you want to go to somebody who's very knowledgeable in light bulbs and lighting stores and things like that. I know as I age, I need more light. And so I use strong, and LEDs produce more light. And like I said, you can buy little portable LED lights that you can stick places if you need a little extra light. They still have some little battery operated ones that are round that you can just put in like your closet or something. So that's kind of nice. Am I getting close? I don't have, how am I doing on time? I don't want to get to.
12:41.
Okay, So there's a lot of things you can do. Another thing I like to talk about is furniture. There are lift chairs that come in multiple sizes, which my mother was a very petite woman as she got older. And my dad had a big, huge chair because he was 6'4", and my mom was down to about 5'2" at that time. And so you can get a lift chair that fits you. And I encourage people to get lift chairs early, and you can get them in all types of fabric. You can, some furniture stores do carry lift chairs where you can get designer fabric on your lift chairs. And they're fancy lift chairs that you would never guess are a lift chair, but they're expensive. But even if, and there is a coating that you can put on any chair that makes it repellent for stains. And I saw a demonstration on this where they took a cup of coffee, poured about half a cup of coffee on white fabric that had this on there. It soaked in a little bit, beat it up some. They continued their presentation for about 15 minutes, then went back, blotted it up. There's a little bit of a stain. They went and got a damp cloth, just patted it a few times, and the stain was gone. I've seen it done on carpet with red wine. That's amazing. So you can spill any kind of things on your carpets. If you do like carpets, you want a smooth carpet, kind of similar to not a big plushy carpet. And you have to, if you're on, and sometimes there's some discussion on if you put too much padding in your carpet and it makes it too soft, that can sometimes cause an issue, but you also don't want to put it on bare floor because that's not enough cushion. It's a little harder on your joint. So you can talk to the carpet person and figure out the best pad for you. And you want a low nap. You don't want anything that's going to snag. So carpet, and I always say, always talk to the professional people. Doesn't mean you need to buy there, but you pick their brain and they'll give you lots of good information for lighting, for carpets, floorings, countertops, kitchens, things like that. And again, you can have front loaders. Again, it depends on what's easiest for you. For me to bend over, it's a little tough because I have a compression fracture in my spine. So I prefer the uprights. And then I actually use the little grabbers my mom had, so I don't have to bend down so far to get back to the back of the dryer to pull out that sock that you can't reach. So I'm not too proud to use things in my house. I'm sometimes, but anyway, we all want to try and keep our pride and our independence as long as we can. Here's an example of where they did the concrete up as a ramp. And then you can even do a decorative brick to make it easier to be even on the door. There's a new technology out that has not caught on, but the door jamb is actually recessed, so it's complete. There's no smooth entry from outside to inside. And on the door, when you shut the door, there's a little hydraulic draft stopper that comes down and seals it. It's really cool. Then here's some more zero entry smooth transitions. You can even put a little ramp into your shower if there's a little bit of a thing, but you want to make sure where your toilet is situated and your counter so you're not going to trip over that little ramp. But there are little rubber ramps or plastic ramps you can put in there when you need to, and then pick them up when you're done. So, and you always want a seat in your shower that's big enough for your whole hiney. You don't want, some of the showers have just cute little corners, and to me, they're basically for putting your soaps on and stuff, but you want a good seat that will keep you stable in the shower. Okay. And here again are our light switches. And like I said, you can rewire your house, but if you have just a few places, I love these power strips, they're great. And Velcro, and they're fine. I did find out I had a matte finish on a wall where I used the Velcro, And when I took it off, it took off a little bit of the drywall, so it had to be repaired. So if you have a little higher gloss or a little higher sheen, it pulls off much easier. So you just kind of got to be a little bit careful when if you pull that Velcro off. And if you Velcro something that's like a piece of wood furniture that's painted, it did pull off a little bit of the paint. But I have a wood stand now and the Velcro, and you don't even necessarily have to Velcro. You can just make sure that it stays flat on your dresser, on your nightstand, wherever, or on your tabletop, but they're just great. All right, and again, light switches. The toggle light switches like are over here versus the old-fashioned one, which is just the one thing. If you start having arthritis or tremors like me, sometimes it's easier to have that wider pad where you just push top or bottom, and that's easy. And here is one of my favorites, the reachable storage. There is a company that's called Rebishelf, and I am going to promote them. I have seen them at the International Home Builder Show. They can configure anything. So if you have a cabinet that goes, it's a corner cabinet, but it's one door and then it goes way back behind, they have all kinds of things that will pull out. They have specialty things, everything, and they can pretty much make any size you want. And if you can take your existing cabinets and make them workable and safe for you, even though these are pricey, I don't think you can buy much of anything under $60, and I have not priced them in the last 2 years, but that could save you the price of a major remodel in your kitchen. Here again, you have the microwave that's lower, and this would be great if you're in a wheelchair. Again, you have the dishwasher or the washing machine where you can put up higher, or the dishwashers where you could put up higher. And also they have dishwashers that are 2 drawers, but again, that bottom drawer is low. So I like just raising the dishwasher up. And most newer dishwashers do not, they're water conservative. So in my opinion, they do not clean as well, but they do cut down on water, and they're more energy efficient, and they are much quieter. But they come in different configurations. On my dishwasher, I can do half a load. So I can either put everything in the bottom or everything in the top and do half a load. And it's more efficient that way. Okay. And again, here's some of the configurations. Here's the pole where you can raise that up or down as needed. It's always better to try and use 1 lever versus 2. Now here they're doing the lever on an exterior door. That's the straight one, but if you're with a cane or have some hand issues where you might slip, try and find one that has a little hook. They usually are special order. And now here's all sorts of switches. The one is a sensor switch, which I do not have. When you walk in the room, that automatically lights up. And then when you go to leave the room, you can push the button and turn it off. So those are great for closets, for the bathroom at night, things like that. Then they have the lighted toggle switches, which will light up so you can see where the switch is at night. And the timer switches, to me, those are a little complicated for me. I just don't need all that. But if you're very savvy with technology, those are kind of fun. And here's some other modifications on the sinks where you can. Here's a kitchen where they have it so you can, the sink is lower, so you can roll into your sink and do your dishes. They don't have the faucet back behind. They have the faucet off to the side. The same thing with your stove and oven. You want your controls in the front, not at the back, because you don't want to have to be reaching across hot burners. Then they have the pull down cabinets, which are nice. They have all sorts of things. An inexpensive way to do it is sometimes the dollar store has these little wire racks. When my mother could no longer reach the upper cabinets, She had some nice counter space, and she wasn't cooking much or baking much or anything, so she didn't need all that counter space. I bought some of these little wire racks, and so she had her plates underneath, she had her bowls and small plates on top. And then I found some for canned goods, and I converted her closet that was for her coats and converted wire shelves in there so she could have a pantry where everything was easily accessible for her, for the canned goods, and she did not have to reach in the upper cabinets. Those are all inexpensive things that you can do on your own. Okay. And then just find places to tour whenever, if you are out and about and you see an open house where there's a place that is, accessible or built for seniors, ask for a tour and they'll show you some of the things. Now, a couple things that aren't on here is a lot of places have pocket doors, and pocket doors are great, except when you can no longer push the button or pull the lever to open the pocket door. There is a new device now that goes, there's a couple ways to do it. There's a new hand pull thing that is about this wide. You place it in the center of the door, and it has a little handle on each side, and you can get it so it has a lock or doesn't have a lock, but it will pull it flush. My cheap version is, and not cheap, you can find a little decorative something that just, you drill a hole and put it in there so the door does not go all the way back in. So you still have an inch of that door out, so you can easily grab it and pull it out. I see a lot of some senior places that have these, but then the seniors can't get the pull tabs open, so they never close the pocket doors. And a pocket door is a door that will go into the wall and disappear. So easy tricks on that. Let's see, trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, so there's just, there's towel bars that will hang over cabinet doors. That's nice in kitchens. There's crank windows are sometimes hard. If you have big windows and you cannot reach, they now have remote control blinds. So you can use remote control blinds to raise and lower, because sometimes you can't always reach up to pull down the blinds or whatever. Those are nice and easy. You can do there, you can just have counter height shelving made. If you want decorative, you can have them made, especially if you want more windows in. So there's lots of things you can do that make life easier for you, and I also look at it from the real estate side, where if you make major changes that make it so it will only be good for a senior or somebody who, maybe not attractive to everybody. So there's some temporary things that you can do that just make it easier. And my last thing, and this is one of my most important, is they have suction cup grab bars. And I actually watched where someone presented and they said you should put suction cup grab bars in your bathroom for permanent use. Never do that, because you never know when that suction cup may fail. Suction cup grab bars are excellent when you are traveling or visiting someone who does not have grab bars that you may need. That is a huge thing. I cannot stress that enough. Because if you're relying on that grab bar and it's a suction cup and it gives way, you're probably gonna be injured. But they do have their place, they're excellent. Most hotel rooms now have handicapped rooms, but if they don't and they have just a shower, those little grab bars, suction cups, and if you don't feel confident, ask somebody from the hotel to put it on for you, because they have a little more strength to get it stuck on there really well. So these are some of the big things. Make sure you have lots of space to maneuver. And there's little ramps that can go over doorways, so you can roll over with a walker. Dimmable lights are nice, all sorts of things. And there's even grab bars and things for your bed or for getting out of chairs and couches. It's like a pole, And you can put it top to bottom, and then there's multiple styles of it, which will help you get that lift you need out of the chair or couch or out of your bed. They do have the bed rail, which for some people, it makes it harder to get in and out of bed. And if you have trouble with my mother, her spine was severely deteriorated. She got an adjustable bed that she laid on her side because she could not lay on her spine. And I taught her how to take the remote control. It would lift her back up. So she was almost sitting straight up. Then she would kind of gently move her legs over. And then she had her walker there. So she had her walker. And then she had the nightstand and she could push herself up. So an adjustable bed is wonderful. They do make them affordable. Some can even be paid for out of Medicare money. And if not, then go to a mattress store somewhere that has, some of them, if you buy the mattress, they throw in the base, or you buy the base and they throw in the mattress. So they do some pretty good deals there. But that is a huge thing. So we are down to 2 minutes, and I'm sorry, does anybody have any questions? I think I covered just about everything. And I talked really fast and I'm looking in all different directions, so I kind of apologize, but you want to make sure everybody gets to see.
Kathy, I see you have your hand raised. I have it available for you if you want to talk.
She's muted.
You are muted though, just so you know.
Kathy, can you unmute?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, two things I wanted to mention while we're talking about it. I am recently back from going to North Carolina to care for an elderly relative. And we were unable to buy bed rails. And the medical supply store I tried to get them from said that they were off the market, but could not explain why. Just wanted to let people know about that.
Yeah, there's other ones out there that the pole ones I kind of like, and then there's some other ones that are much smaller. And yeah, so there's a wide variety of those.
And one other thing I wanted to mention that I have and have not ever had reason to use, but the relative I was taking care of in North Carolina could have used one, is an Knox box. Are you familiar with those?
No,
I'm sorry?
no, I'm not.
Okay, Knox box is something you can get for free through your local fire station. It is a box that attaches to the top of an outside door to your house and will hold a house key.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is a universal lock for emergency responders.
Yeah, I know of them. I just didn't know what the official call was. And then I am gonna hype one thing here is to help you declutter so you have more walking space. This is the best book I found on decluttering, and it is a workbook. And it helps you understand your attachment to your stuff. I wish I had done this before I moved from my house I lived in for 30 years. And before I moved my parents from the farm to a 2-bedroom. It's put out by AARP. It's downsizing the family home. And they have 2 versions. They have one you read and one that is a workbook. Get the workbook. You can buy them online. You can't buy them through AARP, but you can buy them through Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Amazon. You can buy them used where they're inexpensive. So just Google this, and if you can't remember, just look for AARP downsizing, and you want the workbook. So that helps you clear out space. Anything else?
Anybody have any other questions? All right. Well, this is awkward, isn't it? We haven't figured out all the kinks to this yet, so I'm Jeff Kellbach, Aging Specialist, Johnson County Social Services, and Staff Liaison for Johnson County Livable Communities. Those of you that were viewing this in the present or in the future. Apologies for any technical issues. Those in the room, you experienced the technical issues beforehand even, so. I did just want to point out that we do have some more events coming up this month. This was our first hybrid attempt, so it can only go up from here. Next week on May 18th at 2 p.m., we're going to be doing transportation options for older adults in Johnson County. You can view that in person in room 203 of the Health and Human Services Building, 855 South Dubuque Street, Iowa City, Iowa, or on Zoom. You can register for that as well. May 21st at 1 p.m. Medicare 101. This is a great event for folks that are going to be retiring in the near future or have recently retired and want to learn the basics of Medicare. This will be taught over at the Senior Center. It is an event that you have to register for to attend. You can register by calling the Senior Center at 319-356-5220. The last event that we'll have this month will be on May 26th at 10 a.m. and it's AARP fraud prevention. It'll also be a hybrid event. Why not? Room 203 of the Health and Human Services Building again, and we'll also be on Zoom. For more information on any of this, you can feel free to give me a call at 319-356-6090. You can find this online as well at www.johnsoncountyiowa.gov/older-americans-month. Thank you all for coming out and going on this amazing adventure of hybrid events with us. So thank you, and we'll hopefully see you next time.